Yo guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going over all of the changes coming to the Crucible in Destiny's April update. So there are a lot of changes from the gun to the ammo to even some of the subclasses, so we're just going to jump right into this, starting with the changes coming to revives. So there's a big change coming to revives in all of the 3v3 game modes, and that is that you will no longer be able to sprint through someone's orb and revive them. So unfortunately, a lot of things are going to become more difficult with the revives across all 3v3 game modes, including Trials of Osiris. So now you're going to have to get closer to even start reviving someone. You're going to have to wait longer before you can actually revive that person. So you're now going to have to wait 7 seconds on their first death and 14 seconds on the second death. And just reviving in general will take 2 more extra seconds. There were also a ton of changes coming to special ammo and heavy ammo as well. So you will now, just like before, spawn with special ammo in all game modes. However, special ammo will not come as frequently. Instead, it's going to be coming 3 minutes in and then 2 minutes after that in each game. And as for heavy as well, you will not be seeing that as much anymore because you will only see heavy one time every game at the 5-minute mark, and then you will never see it again. And as for trials goes, the heavy will stay the same, so will start to come once the first team has reached 3 wins, and then you just see it that one time, and that's it. Now they have at least increased the rewards for the Crucible, so instead of in Iron Banner now, instead of receiving legendaries every time that you would have received like a legendary engram, instead you will just receive a guaranteed piece of Iron Banner gear or weapon. So that's pretty awesome. Now Iron Banner, you will only be able to get Iron Banner gear and weapons as rewards. And you will also be able to reach level 335 light through Iron Banner if you're able to reach rank 5. So that is pretty awesome, and I'm looking forward to the next Iron Banner with all of these new changes. Now before we get into the changes coming to the weapons, let's go over the changes to Trials of Osiris. So Trials won't really be any different. However, Trials will be the only game mode where you do have to wait 2 additional seconds before you can revive anyone, so that might be a little bit of trouble. It's going to be a lot more challenging now once your teammates go down to even be able to clutch, and getting revives is going to be a lot more difficult. However, if you're just like someone that likes to play Trials of Osiris and doesn't necessarily want to go to the lighthouse every time, there will be 1 daily bounty for Trials of Osiris now, so that will be something to complete now every day of Trials of Osiris instead of just getting all the bounties one time. You will be able to complete some of them every single day. And the bounties will drop up to 330 gear, so that is going to be a very good way to farm a lot of gear by just running those daily bounties. Now let's get into the changes to the weapons. Now there are a lot of changes coming to a lot of weapons, so we're just going to start off by going over the auto rifles. So auto rifles, if you have an auto rifle that has a higher fire rate, something like the Doctrine of Passing, you're going to see a very slight nerf to the damage on high fire rate auto rifles. But you will also see a slight buff to all of these slower shooting auto rifles like the Suros regime. Now for the pulse rifles, all we're going to be seeing is a low fire rate buff. So anything that has a low fire rate like the spare change will see a slight buff to the damage. Next up for the hand cannons, they're increasing the amount of ammo that you can carry across the board. So you can carry a lot more ammo now in the magazine and just on your person as well. So if you're on kill streaks or you actually are someone that likes to run hand cannons in the raids or in nightfalls, you won't be running out of ammo as easily anymore because they have actually increased the amount of ammo you can hold and carry. Next up for the fusion rifles, they're buffing the stability on all the fusion rifles, so they're all going to be just a little bit more accurate. Next up, we have some big changes coming to the sniper rifles. So the zoom distance on every single scope in the game will be increased 20%. So all the snapshot and all the close range snipes that we used to be able to get before are going to be a little bit more difficult. And quick scoping in close range will be a little harder because they have increased the zoom across all of the scopes. Now they have also changed the snapshot perk, and instead of having a 30% change in the time that takes to scope down sight, there will only be a 20% change. So snapshot won't be as effective as it used to be. And they have reduced the stability on all of the sniper rifles across the board. So now we're going to talk about all of the exotics that are going to be tweaked with this update, starting with the MIDA multi-tool. So the MIDA multi-tool will no longer have high caliber rounds. Everything about it will stay the same, like the damage and the time to kill. However, when you shoot enemies, they won't become as staggered as easily. Next up, we have the Suros regime. So the base damage for the Suros regime has been buffed up again. And the spinning up perk will now take longer to activate, and it will take about 4 shots until you see that start to activate. Next up, we have the Hawk Moon, which will see an increase to range. And the last word, which is getting a bit of a nerf with a reduced amount of damage on hipfire headshots. However, it is still a 3-shot kill. Now we are also going to be seeing some changes to the Thorn. So they will be nerfing the damage over time again, so it can still stack, but it will only do 2 damage every time. And instead of pulsating 7 times, it will only pulsate 4 times. So a lot of the burn has been taken away from the Thorn. However, it is still pretty decent across the board, but it is nowhere near where it used to be in year 1. Now also with everyone using the Icebreaker and sidearms in Trials of Osiris, they have decided to also nerf the Icebreaker. So now when you swap weapons with any weapon, you will no longer keep the special ammo from the previous weapon, so you can no longer just spawn in with a sidearm and swap your weapons over, or the Icebreaker. So once you swap weapons, you won't have the ammo anymore. Now they have also decreased the amount of overall special ammo that we can carry, so we won't be able to carry as much special ammo anymore. And they've increased the zoom distance of the Icebreaker, so it will be more of a longer range weapon now. Next up we have the DREG'S Promise, which previously, in my opinion, was the worst weapon in Destiny. Really, you could never use it, and you would go an entire Crucible game and only really get like 2 kills with this thing. But now they have majorly buffed this thing up, and the tracking bullets will be doing a lot more damage, and they will track enemies a lot better. Now, they were showing this thing during the live stream, and it was about a 2 burst to 3 burst kill, and honestly, this is probably the first weapon I'm going to be using when the April update comes out, just to see just how good it is in Year 2 now. Now for my favorite weapon in the game, the 1000-yard stare, we will see a lowered bullet inventory and more zoom when aimed down the scope. Now finally we have some pretty big changes coming to the Telesto because they have finally fixed the problem where the bullets wouldn't stick to surfaces, so you can now stick Telesto shots to your teammates and to Word of Dawn as well. Now finally, the last portion of the live stream covered the new subclass changes coming to Destiny, so we're going to cover the Sunsinger and the Voidwalker and the Stormcaller, and I'm going to let you know all the changes coming to all 3 of the subclasses. So first off, we have everyone's favorite and everyone's most hated, the Sunsinger class. So they didn't change anything with the self-res, so you guys don't have to worry about that, but they have lowered the flame shield and the frequency in which you can get the flame shield, so it's not going to be as strong anymore. Now you will be able to gain more solar wind and more brimstone damage if you choose to run that on your subclass. Now they have not nerfed the firebolt grenades at all, those are completely unchanged. But you will get grenades more often when running the correct subclass build. Next up we have the Stormcaller, where all they're really going to do is make it so that it doesn't blow up the bulb anymore if you pop it when you're right on top of it, so unfortunately you won't be able to pop any Titan bubbles anymore. And they have also made every ability take a little bit more from your supers, so overall it just won't last as long. Now for the Voidwalker, they're not nerfing anything when it comes to the super itself, but you will see better melees across your Voidwalker class. So that is everything coming in the Crucible portion of Destiny's April update. If you'd like to see all of the other changes coming to the Prison of Elders, and some changes even coming to weapons as well, check out my channel. There was an entire playlist of everything coming in Destiny's April update. Other than that, guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like down below and subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Goodbye.